Before I share today's marketing tip, as I share these different tips, sometimes you hear so many different ways that you can market your book that it can get overwhelming. So I want to caution you. Marketing Tip Mondays with Bamboo Sparks. No matter how many marketing ideas you hear, you need to put into practice that which you can manage, that which you can be consistent in. And that means sometimes just taking 1 to 3 ideas. Maybe you have a consistent online strategy, just one strategy that you're employing to market and promote your book, one offline one, or if you can go up to 3. That also means sometimes, especially in the beginning, if you don't have help, limiting the platforms that you promote your book on, limiting your activities. So if it means for you maybe just having one major event per year to sell the book, do that major event and set a target. I'm going to sell 100 books or 200 books this year, and you go after that. If the marketing is not just for books, but for products with your books, and you know I love that, entrepreneurship, then you can plan that, but you need to go at your own pace. So I want to caution you. Today's marketing tip is about marketing via podcasts, right? So podcasts sell book. I'm here in my podcast studio for the Entrepreneur Secrets podcast, hence the different setting. And I can't tell you how many books I have purchased just from listening to an author being interviewed on a podcast. And in the book marketing 101 course that I have a teaching by Marva Titley Smith, another author who does very well with digital marketing, on how to get booked on podcast. Now, you have to make sure the podcast aligns with the subject of your book or the genre of your book. You want to make sure you listen to the podcast, and so you are familiar with the podcaster and what they're offering before you just make the pitch. You can't just send a general pitch. I want to be on your podcast. Make sure you have the requisite information, your biographical data, summary of the book, and you show the podcaster in your email outreach how your podcast aligns with whatever it is that you're offering so that they will see that you're going to bring value to the podcast. And in so doing, sometimes you prepare your media kit. That means you have a picture, a professional photo that they can use to promote. You have a short bio. You can have a 50-word bio, a 2-line bio, a 100-word bio. You have images of your book in case it's a video podcast, because most people are doing video podcasts these days. You want to have the mock-up of your book so that they can use those for promotion. And you want to, as I said before, listen to the podcast. There are folks, when they are launching their book, they just go on a podcast campaign and or a podcast tour. I remember John Lee Dumas for his podcast, EO Fire Entrepreneurs on Fire, when he was launching one of his books. I think it may have been 300 different podcasts he went on. So that was his primary marketing and promotional activities. And just remind you, I am not here distinguishing between marketing and promotion. I'm just sharing some strategies on our Marketing Tip Mondays so that your books can be seen and sold, so that you can have the impact that you want it to have. It's all about that. I'm simplifying it. And one of the things a podcast does is that it gets you in front of a new audience. And for any product, be it a book, be it a service you're offering, you need to continually introduce yourself to new audiences, and podcasting is a way to do that. So if your book, for example, aligns with the Entrepreneur Secrets podcast, it's not just about selling the books, winning beyond book sales, then you can send me an email at ruth@entrepreneursecrets.com and I would interview you on the podcast. You have to show me um, what product or services you've created with your book. You need to send the Amazon link, for example, your bio. Listen to my podcast and see how it aligns with your book and aligns with your own mission. And then I'll take a look at the book itself too, because I want to promote excellent books. So if I look at the book online, the cover is not well done, it's not formatted properly, more than likely I wouldn't take you on the podcast, because self-publishing still has some stigma and we want people who represent excellence. So my podcast is about winning beyond book sales, creating sustainable income by becoming an author entrepreneur. So you're building products and services around your book. You're using your book for both impact and income. And so once there's that kind of alignment, or if you're building a business around your book, then my podcast would be aligned. And it's the same thing you're going to do when you're checking out other people's podcasts. So don't just book yourself on any podcast. There has to be alignment. And so, like I said, podcasts sell books, and it's one of the most effective marketing and promotional strategy that you can use. But make sure the podcast is aligned. So I trust that you will use this tip and adhere to the cautions so that this year will be a fruitful year for you. Ta for now, until next time.